Good evening. This is CBC Windsor News live at 6, and I'm Jason Vio. Thank you for joining us. Here's what's making news tonight. Dangerous chemicals are being removed from a plastics plant in Sarnia right now. Aamjiwnaang First Nation, right next door to Ineos, has said those chemicals make them sick. And the popular 2024 Ouellette car cruise is back. We'll take you there live in just a few minutes. Plus, it's official, our Windsor morning radio show has a permanent host. We'll get to know Amy Dodge a little bit better later in the show. A plastics plant in Sarnia will start removing a dangerous chemical from storage tanks this weekend. The company says it's the first of a multi-phase plan to meet new government regulations. The CBC's Chris Ensing reports.
The Ineos styrolution plant has been shut down since spring, idled by the province after nearby monitoring stations recorded dangerous levels of a toxic chemical in the air. These tanks store benzene. It's a byproduct shipped to the plant by area oil refineries and used to make plastic. Benzene is known to cause cancer with high exposure over long periods of time. Ontario's government approved the first phase of the benzene removal process after input from neighboring Aamjiwnaang First Nation.
This has been an ongoing, multi-generational issue. It's been environmental racism, and now we need to address it, and we need to co-create the path forward and not just be left off to the sidelines. True environmental justice means working with Aamjiwnaang First Nation here.
Ineos will first move the benzene to another facility outside of Canada, and it will do that by ship on water and is expected to finish early next week. Council shuts down offices if air monitors record 27 micrograms of benzene per cubic meter of air. They're closed as a precaution today, but phase 2 could require parts of the community to evacuate. Details of how that will work and when it will happen are unclear.
Once that happens, the emissions might spike, and we're anticipating, I'm afraid to say this number because I don't want to scare people, but over 600. And so that would trigger an absolute evacuation for us here in Aamjiwnaang.
The province is working with Ineos and council to find a way that limits that risk, but the benzene needs to be removed to complete repairs to meet new regulations. Ineos is fighting those regulations at a provincial tribunal and has announced plans to shut down the plant permanently by 2026. That will put 80 people out of a job. Industry groups have called on the government to make regulations consistent to keep the plant operational.
The concern is that decisions are being made and regulations are being changed without a full consultation and analysis of the entire system and the impact on such quick decisions and changes can make within the industry as a whole.
Namabin says that council has one goal, and it's not to shut down industrial companies where members work at.
Safety, public safety, community safety.
The tribunal hearing where Ineos is expected to argue against the provincial regulations will start in the fall. Chris Ensing, CBC News, Aamjiwnaang.
The Windsor Public Library needs more money to keep its current service levels. Its board will consider asking for a 5% budget increase next year. That translates into close to $500,000.
It's real easy to look at, your household budget and say, where can I save 5%? And I know that the majority of the public probably thinks that there's so much waste going on and so many easy ways to save money, but there isn't. Right? There's people working full time to try and save every penny that we possibly can, and especially when it comes to libraries. So it's going to be interesting to see where the discussion goes and what we can and can't do, maybe not to save money, but at least to try and keep things balanced for another year.
Now, this request comes at the same time there's a city directive asking all departments to make a 5% cut. Library board members will be going through its nearly $10 million budget. Because the majority of the library's spending is on personnel, cuts would come at the cost of services. One option to cut the budget is to close a library branch. That's a move staff are not recommending. Also on the agenda, a new proposed library schedule for next year. The schedule would make hours across all branches consistent no matter the branch or season. Under this proposal, all branches would be open on Sunday, and it would mean an increase to overall library hours each week. Construction on Sandwich Street in Windsor's West End is causing a headache for some businesses. The work stretches from Ojibwe Parkway to Rosedale Avenue roundabout. People have to take a detour to reach the area, although businesses are open and accessible.
There's definitely been a massive impact on the finances of businesses in Sandwich Town. we are in a situation where it is more difficult to access these businesses. There's also a communication throughout the city that we are inaccessible, which is absolutely not true.
The entire construction is expected to go on until the beginning of next year, but accessing the community will become much easier by the end of September. To lessen the impact of this construction and draw people to the area, various events have been planned by the local Business Improvement Association. Well, the 9th annual Ouellette Car Cruise is about to get underway in just a few moments. The annual event gives classic car owners the chance to get out and show off their rides. Jacob Barker is at Festival Plaza and spoke with some of the owners earlier today. Joins us live now. Jacob, I saw some of your photos that you took. Some pretty cool cars out there. What's happening behind you right now?
Very cool cars, Jason. And I don't know if you can hear them now. You've seen the pictures, but the rumbling has begun here. The cars are rolling out to take that cruise through the city. And I arrived here at 1 o'clock, sort of right when all the cars were getting here this afternoon, and they've been sitting, showing off their different rides all through the afternoon. And one impression I got was that these cars, most of them, if not all, are very expensive. And behind every car, there's a financial decision that has to be made. I spoke with one owner who actually got his car at a garage sale.
I didn't have that kind of money. I said to her after I had the car serviced and looked at to make sure everything was in good shape, I offered her $15,000 on the nose. That's all I can go. Her daughter says, "Ma, that's the second person that offered 15." And she looked at her daughter and she says, "Let me think about it." A day or two went by and she called me and she said, "My daughter loved your offer." So I went over there, signed the papers, and I asked her, "Do you mind me keeping the car in your driveway in the garage for a couple of days in order for me to transfer the ownership and get insurance?" And she agreed to that. Then when all that was done, I went to her, gave her the money, all in $100 bills.
Oh, wow. It was a cash deal.
It was a cash deal, yeah. And like I said, that's the biggest garage sale purchase I ever made in my life.
My wife told me for the down payment we needed to sell the car. So from '82 till 2012, I didn't have any classic cars until I bought this one.
And what was it like to have to let go of your car at that point?
Brutal. I cried like a little baby, but it was for a good cause. We needed to have a home as a young couple, but very difficult.
So how much did you sell it for?
$2,800. A car that now is worth 40 grand. But we needed the money and we just had to do it.
And so this is the same kind of car?
Exactly, just a model up, a little fancier, but the same body style.
So you were able to come back to your car later in life?
Yes, I was, and I'm very happy to have done it. It just reminds me of good times back in the, early 70s and early 80s.
So if you do want to catch a glimpse of these cars, they're going to be heading down Ouellette out to Tecumseh Road and then back here via Ouellette Avenue. They're also having a bit of a block party on Chatham Street in downtown. They're going to have a Grand Prix car on display. Jason, I think that's a little out of yours and my price range.
Absolutely. I see the crew starting there behind you. Thanks so much, Jacob. Volunteers with Sleep in Heavenly Peace, a local charity, are back from a trip to Quebec. They build beds for kids who don't have one. While there, they also worked with the Knights of Columbus to build headboards.
When we leave, they have a completely built and made bed. And it's probably one of the most wonderful things you'll ever see is a child getting their bed for the first time.
Syncora says they have built more than 600 beds in 3 years. They have dozens of volunteers and a long wait list of kids who need a bed to sleep on. Sleep in Heavenly Peace is a North American charity. Windsor has the only Ontario chapter, and when the Knights of Columbus said they wanted to get involved, they called on Windsor. They built 200 headboards over the course of 4 days. Now those headboards will be finished, turned into beds, and given to kids right here in Windsor. Well, the weather may be perfect for a dip in the water, but one area beach is off limits for swimming. Lakeview Beach in Bell River is closed to swimming due to high E. coli counts. Elevated E. coli levels can cause skin and eye infections for swimmers and diarrhea if the water is swallowed. The local health unit has also issued warnings at 3 other beaches, including Sandpoint Beach in Windsor. Well, you heard it at the top of the show here. You probably heard it on Windsor Morning, and it's been on our website all day today. It's official. Amy Dodge will be moving into the host chair of the Windsor Morning radio show moving forward on a permanent basis. I sat down with her today for a chat about the job, her life, and the show.
One of the best parts about being the host that I've noticed is people's willingness to be vulnerable and to share their story. And I think being a mom has brought a level of nurturing to that conversation that I maybe didn't have when I started my career 15 years ago, right? I was trying to get the sound bite, or I was trying to fulfill what the producer wanted me to do, or I didn't really have the life experience or the understanding. But to have another person sitting across from me, I see them now as family, someone's child. I have like that maternal feeling come in.
When the show's over, you go home, what do you do for fun?
My joy in life outside of work is my family. So I have 2 toddlers. You know, toddlers are very busy. I have, she's 2 today, August 9th. Oh. And my son is 4. And they are busy, but they are happy and they are full of life. And I find I get the most joy when I get to be present with them and play with them and explore with them. And I've been able to see Windsor, Essex in a whole new lens since having them. What is available, the barriers that families face, the activities, the community events. I get to meet other parents, and my son's going to be starting school in September. All of that opens a whole new world that I wouldn't have had access to prior to having kids.
Time now for a look at your weather forecast ahead of your weekend. Riley Lachuk has all of those details.
Well, Jason, another pleasant day today across southwestern Ontario, albeit maybe a little bit of a breeze out of the northwest. There we have seen some gusts up to about 40 kilometers an hour or so at times. Not a lot to see on satellite radar here, but if I widen out the shot, yeah, quite a bit of weather to the north and to the east. This year, the remnants of what was Tropical Storm Debbie having an impact on sort of the Ottawa Valley into Montreal, into parts of Quebec as we get through the day today, expecting quite a bit of rain further to the east as we head even into the morning on Saturday. For us, as we get into the day on Saturday, looking at mainly sunny skies once again to start the day, and really that sets us up for what is expected to be a pretty dry weekend for most of us through southwestern Ontario. We do look at maybe the potential for some showers as we get through Sunday, particularly sort of north of Sarnia into cottage country. Not expecting that to have much of an impact here in southwestern Ontario. We're looking at mainly sunny skies, maybe a bit of high thin cloud as we get through the day Saturday into Sunday. Our best chance of some showers the further north you go as you head through into the afternoon hours on Sunday. Winds, we will see gusty winds once again as we head into Saturday as well. Out of the south, gusting to about 40 or so at times of the afternoon hours, 30-40 gusts throughout southwestern Ontario. So not overly windy, but yeah, you'll notice that breeze once again as we head through the afternoon hours, especially through the day on Saturday. So here's some of our daytime highs from today across southwestern Ontario, looking at temperatures around 26, 27 degrees, fairly seasonal for this time of the year. A bit cooler along the water in Sarnia, for example, where the water has kind of kept those temperatures a little bit on the cooler side throughout the day today. So we're looking at temperatures tonight, 13 to 15 degrees, a fairly seasonal night tonight, and we're looking at maybe a touch below seasonal temperature-wise tomorrow. London, Chatham, Kent, 23 degrees, 24 in Windsor tomorrow, but the trade-off is we get sunny skies for much of the weekend, and that's the pattern that we're setting up for as we get into the work week. 27 for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Jason, and not a lot of precipitation in the forecast either.
All right. Thanks so much, Riley. Still to come here on CBC Windsor News Live at 6. The very first Windsor International Black Film Festival is coming up soon. Our Week's End segment with Josiah is coming up right after the break. Statistics Canada has released new numbers indicating the unemployment rate held steady at 6.4%, but the economy lost 2,800 jobs last month. One of the findings, students are having a hard time finding jobs this summer. Student employment is down almost 7% from last year. Recent immigrants are also disproportionately affected by the weakening labor market. Their unemployment rate climbed to over 12% in July, and young recent immigrants now face a jobless rate of 22.8%. Economists see the overall numbers as disappointing. They had been expecting job gains. And southern Quebec is being hit with sudden heavy rain, and it isn't expected to stop until after midnight. Rainfall began overnight, and people in Montreal woke up to localized flooding. By 10 this morning, between 60 and 80 millimeters had fallen. Before it ends, some places could see totals of 120 millimeters. The remnants of Hurricane Debbie are responsible. Josiah Sinanen joins us now for his Week's End segment. Josiah, tonight you're telling us about a first for Windsor. What are you bringing us tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Jason, this is really exciting. Next week is Windsor's very first International Black Film Festival. Our very own community here in the city has spent a lot of time putting together the shows, setting up volunteers, and accepting submissions. It's finally all happening next weekend. So in anticipation for the event, I got to sit down with the Vice President, Christy Nelson, and one of the film submitters, Carlos Anthony, to have a discussion.
Well, it's been 3 years in the making. It started off with an idea around proper representation of Black creatives on screen. And then it developed into a team of people who are now eager and determined and very, very faithfully putting together a film festival for the whole community to enjoy.
And Carlos, you're one of the local contributors to this festival, and this is what I understand to be your first short film that's going to be at the festival called Triggered. Can you tell us a little bit of the synopsis and how you got connected to the International Film Festival?
When I wrote it, it was really just to kind of talk about masculinity, womanizing. As a human being that has experienced trauma as a child, I've just been able to understand myself better on this journey, how our traumas could affect our triggers and could affect the choices that we make as human beings. We're not a monolith, and I think the benefit of this International Film Festival and other Black International Film Festivals is that it gives us a voice. And it gives us more of an identity, even though we have different identities.
Just the stories alone, they're very varied and vast, and it's like a multicultural boiling pot when you look at the different stories within this film festival. We have submissions from France, Cameroon, United States, Canada, Jamaica, and beyond. And so just like our city of Windsor is very diverse in its Black population, so too are the films that we're going to be screening during the film festival. So that's how that all ties in.
So Jason, just a tiny taste of what you can expect and what went into this film festival. You can watch a longer version of my interview with Christy and Carlos on the CBC Windsor website.
And it's amazing to hear that there are submissions from around the world coming to Windsor. That's really neat.
Super cool. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, so what do we need to know if we want to attend?
Yeah, so the best news for last, Jason, is that this event is almost entirely free. Next Friday, things kick off with a red carpet hosted by myself at the Windsor Armories downtown, and after that, they're opening film. Saturday, most of the films are screening at the same location, with the whole day being just $10, and Sunday is the closing ceremonies and awards, which are also free to attend. And Jason, something that Nelson and Anthony shared with me is that they really want the entire Windsor community to come out and encourage this type of film festival from all ethnicities. So come out next Friday, you can meet all of us and enjoy some good cinema as well.
This is very exciting. Thanks for bringing it to us.
Thank you very much, Jason.
Well, still to come here on CBC Windsor News, we'll bring you today's Olympic update and the latest Canadian gold medal. That story is right after the break. Canada's Olympians registered a big moment on the track in Paris today. The men's 4x100 relay team won gold, with Andre de Grasse running the anchor leg in the outside lane. CBC's Angie Seth has more on him and other Canadian athletes in action today.
This was the dream Andre de Grasse has been having throughout these games, a gold medal. And that is exactly what he and his teammates, Aaron Brown, Jerome Blake, Brendan Rodney, all of them were able to accomplish, winning gold in the 4x100 meter relay. Canada dominated on the track from baton to baton, and then the final leg, the anchor, Andre de Grasse taking it home.
Just watching them run, I mean, all I had to do was just high step it and bring it home. I mean, you know, so I mean, they made my job easy, and I'm just super grateful for this moment, and it's a good way to end the games.
De Grasse is now tied with Penny Ouellette for most Olympic medals at 7 apiece. The women's relay team, meantime, had a stellar performance, coming in 7th place. Sade McCreath, Jacqueline Madogo, Marie-Eloise Leclerc, and Audrey Leduc. Very proud of their accomplishments, with a determination to do better in 2028. And from the track to the water, well, what a finish it was for Canada's women's canoe team in the C2 500-meter race. Katie Vincent and Sloane McKenzie pushing hard for the bronze, a photo finish with a time of 1:54.36. They were just shy of winning the silver medal, but nonetheless thrilled to be taking home some hardware for Canada. But heartbreak for Nova Scotia-born Sarah Mitten. Canada's shot putter had a brilliant performance in the semi-finals. A different story, however, in the finals for Mitten. First through 2 throws, hitting well below her potential, but it was her 3rd attempt that would knock her out of competition. She hit the 20-meter mark. However, she lost her balance, falling out of the circle, deeming a disqualification.
It stings to know that it was within reach and that I have to wait 4 more years. It was an amazing experience, and I've got an entire community of support at home.
So looking ahead to tomorrow now, more medals to be won. First, bright and early, is the men's marathon. Then we head over to the track, and we'll be competing in the 5,000-meter race. Marco Arop was a favorite for a medal in the 800-meter race. And on the women's side, our Canadian team will race the track in the 4x400-meter relay. Well, for all your Olympic coverage, watch CBC TV, CBC Sports, and CBC Gem. Angie Seth, CBC News, Toronto.
Whether it's Grandparents' Day, Earth Day, or Flag Day, there are plenty of special dates on the calendar. Tomorrow is an event that celebrates royalty, specifically the King of Beasts. World Lion Day was established a decade ago to highlight the majestic cat's declining numbers. According to estimates, there are only now between 20 and 39,000 of them worldwide. Well, that's it for us here at CBC Windsor News live at 6. Don't forget, for news anytime, you can head to our website, cbc.ca/Windsor. Thanks so much for tuning in. Have a great evening, and looking forward to seeing you back here next week.